Hello, I am Mark Tucker,
And I'm Alan Furstenberg,
and welcome to Two Voice Devs.
Two Voice Devs.
This is the Alexa Live quick recap episode.
And we'll see just how quick it actually is, because there is a lot to recap. But so we're recording this the day after Alexa Live, which means we've only had the barest amount of time to look through all of this. So right up front, I think we should make clear we're going to be talking about this stuff for a while. We're going to go into depth about a lot of things later. But this is, I think this is going to be what caught our eye the most. So I guess I'll kick off with that. What caught your eye the most, Mark?
Oh my. The thing is, so there's some of these conferences that are kind of meaty and are interesting, but this one seems like it was like a fire hose. They were like, bam, 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 bam. That opening session was just, it was like name dropping features left and right. And then, trying to catch the follow-up sessions. There was just a lot to go through.
Right. And the follow-up sessions didn't cover everything even.
No, they were only 20 minutes each.
Yeah. So there was a lot that I was left going, wait, what does that mean? What I mean, that's a clever sounding thing, but what does it mean?
No, I totally agree. So like some of the things that first caught my eye was some additional APL things. And it's along the lines of, if you've got a smart display, so an Echo Show device, or even devices from other makers like the Facebook portal or whatnot, then you can use APL, and it's a way of making your skills more discoverable. So like one of the first features they talked about was featured skill cards. So the idea is that your Echo Show is constantly cycling through different things and doing news stories or whatnot. And so now you've got the ability to use APL to do these featured skill cards that are just promos for your skills. So it's just a way of doing skill discovery. And then similarly is this concept called APL widgets. And what that is actually a snapshot into your skill. So like in a game, it could be the leaderboard that, the person's score plus the people just ahead and just behind, or it could be like something's happening in a game, or there's just wide open, but it's actually something that teases them to see what's going on, remind them that this skill exists, and then they can even tap to go right into the skill and start playing around with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Both of those sounded really exciting. I think the widgets concept is really going to be something that we see from both platforms moving forward a lot. And I think it's interesting that in some ways, the widgets are performing the same action in both. It's not going to be a full-featured conversation, but it does let you start that conversation and do a limited bit of action through it, and show a limited set of results as part of the screen. And I think that's going to be great. I'm really curious where the recommended skills go. And that was one of the things that had me going, but what does that mean? So what will get you recommended? What will get you on that screen? And the answer is, we don't know.
Yeah. And that's true. And that's like, you'd be crazy as a developer to not do it. But then you also have like, well, how are they going to cycle through 100,000 skills that are doing this? And supposedly, what's the criteria?
And supposedly, from the reports that I was hearing from Brett Kinsella, there will not be a way to pay for promotional space there. So,
see, I haven't caught that, but that's interesting.
That wasn't something that they talked about there, and they never said that it would be. But they kind of hinted that, the description of it is promote your skill using predefined discovery cards, convert top of funnel traffic to long-term engaged customers. To me, that really sounds like we're going to let you advertise your skill.
Yeah, it does.
but apparently not. So I think we'll see where that actually goes. That's one of those. It's going to be interesting to see what plays out.
Yeah. So also interestingly, this isn't APL related, but in the Alexa app, you can have rich media detail pages as well that go along with your skill. So that's another place that if you're roaming around the Alexa app doing things, I don't know, setting up routines or whatever you're going to be doing inside there, then there might be a way to get additional attention on your skills from that that avenue as well.
Yeah, it seemed like clearly there was a lot that they were trying to do that was not necessarily increasing discovery, but at the very least increasing conversion.
Right.
They talked a lot, even though there were no new announcements about quick links, and we talked about this last week and a year ago.
Yep.
Even though there were no real major announcements about quick links, and that's not true, there were some, but they were talking about quick links a lot in terms of using it as a way to convert people from the web to your skill.
Right. Yeah. Some other ways that they talked about discoverability is name-free invocation, NFI. Oh, yeah. So they talked about being able to say things like, Alexa, I want to play a game, and have your skill come up as something that is suggested. Or if you've played a game, my game before, and then you go back and say, I'd like to play a game. They're like, well, you've played Snatchword before. Would you like to play that? And so it's I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do that, but it seems to be like a personalization feature that will help you get back to, if you can't remember quite exactly the name, is it Snatchword or Snatchwords or Word Snatch, or then you can say play a game, and maybe because you've played it recently, it will suggest that, or other skills that are games that you've played that maybe will get you back into something kind of re-engaging.
Now, I feel like there were several features that were actually launched around this, and I worry that I'm confusing one for the other. So what you just described sounds a lot like what Google calls built-in invocations.
Oh, the like to play a game, right?
Yeah, like to play a game. I think another one was I'd like to do a work. The three of them that I remember hearing them mentioned, which I can't find quickly now, sounded a lot like their ones that Google had as well as built-in invocations. But I feel like there was more to what NFIs could do.
Yes, there definitely seems like if NFIs, if I recall correctly, it was actually announced last year, and so it's been kind of behind the scenes, not much. I guess some people have been doing preview stuff with it, but it's not really been as widely available. And so I think they're kind of pushing that down the road and really saying you should be should have an NFI container for your skill, and there's all kinds of goodness that's going to happen, some of it automatically because you've done that. And so the feature that we're talking about here is this recommended skills in popular discovery phrases. So these discovery phrases like play a game. But then the other part that I mentioned too is this, like how they're terming it on there's like a summary page where you can go and click to join different previews. They have it listed as personalized skill suggestions with NFI. So that falls into the categories like if you played something before and it's personalized, and you can then say play a game, and it would recommend a specific game that you've already enabled or played before.
Okay, got it. Yeah. And I think also one of the other things that, if I remember correctly, was announced as part of NFIs was that they also now had a toolkit that would recommend some additional phrases that you should register for.
Yeah.
Did I get that correctly? And I'll admit, I'm not sure I understand everything going on here.
Yeah, there's I don't have a good handle on that. There's something that's grouped loosely under NFI container. I'm not exactly sure all the things that are available on that.
Okay, so either way, I mean, it sounds like a bunch of NFI and invocation tools that are there or coming as well. Yeah. So, and again, we're going to go into all of these in more detail as we figure them out.
Yeah, we have definitely weeks and weeks of
of new material to talk about.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of material that kind of talks about that kind of addresses one of the friction points that we've sort of talked about in the past that we're going to need to talk more about. What are your thoughts on the new paid skills?
Interesting. The only example that I have of a paid skill in action was like the Samuel L. Jackson voice.
Yeah.
So that's something where it's got enough of a I know, I guess you understand it enough, and there's a big enough celebrity that you're like, oh, 99 cents, yeah, I'll just go ahead and pay 99 cents. I'm not exactly sure in what categories or how a paid skill would be better. In some cases, I like the idea of a subscription because you get to, have it for a 3-day, 7-day, whatever trial, and get to experiment with it before, and then you like it, and then you go ahead and subscribe it.
Well, apparently the paid skills also offer a trial period.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that part. So that would be interesting then.
Yeah. I think the thing that confused me the most about it is increasingly we're seeing, everything turn into a service rather than a product.
Yes.
So I am renting features on my car rather than buying a car increasingly. And certainly for a technology like a skill that runs somewhere else that has a recurring cost every time somebody accesses my skill.
Yep.
It seems more like I'd want to charge them a subscription rather than a flat fee up front. So I thought that was a little weird.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with them doing it. I guess for some people, it's a model that makes more sense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see,
yeah,
what skills evolve into paid skills and kind of what the purpose is if we kind of start getting some things coalescing around different ideas of these are the types of skills that you would want to use paid subscription versus one of the other ISP options.
So what else caught your fancy?
Well, so in this same area of monetization, first of all, a big shout out to 2 new countries, English-speaking countries that can now do in-skill purchasing, India and Canada. So that means that I could expand Snatchword so that you can pay for it in the United States, the UK, Canada, and India.
Well, this is also interesting, though.
Yep.
I don't see it on the link that I have currently in front of me. But my understanding was it's not just open to both of those countries in English, but also both of those countries in their other language. Besides, so it's all so in-skill purchasing will also be supported in Hindi in India and French in Canada as well as English.
Yeah, I haven't. I went and checked yesterday right after this to say, hey, maybe I can just click a couple of boxes and resubmit and expand Snatchword to a couple more countries, but it wasn't in my drop down.
I was going to say, I also think it's all coming soon. A lot of these are coming soon.
Yeah. Yeah, there were like that document. Most of them are preview forms. There are a few that are docs. One's like a general, oh, are you interested? I don't know. It's lots of things are coming. Also in the area of monetization, a couple of things that are interesting is being able to take products that are already on Amazon.com and expose them through your skill and allow you to purchase, your customer user to purchase them similar fashion of in-skill purchasing. So you're still inside the skill flow, you purchase, your yoga mat or whatever, right? And then you're right back in the skill. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. I can see different things where, like if it's something for a brand or celebrity, you could, purchase T-shirts or other memorabilia right there on the site.
Well, there's a lot of interesting aspects to that. So not only was that there, but it's also it can also be tied to the Amazon affiliate program.
Yes,
so that's listed as a related but different feature.
Yeah, exactly. So you can sell your own things, or I guess anything from Amazon, and then and it just purchases, and I'm assuming fulfills because there's been Amazon Paid that you can do before, but you had to handle the the catalog of items to sell, and once the payment happened, then you had to handle the fulfillment and recording it in your own system. This sounds like this is hands off. It's already on Amazon.com. You surface it. They say, I want to purchase this item. It gets added to their cart, or they go ahead and purchase it. And then it gets charged to the credit card on Amazon, and it gets sent to the address. There is nothing that you have to do as far as other back-end systems, and you can start selling items through your skills. And that is huge.
That is huge. When I heard this, I'll admit, I heard this and I'm like, I don't know, that seems kind of niche to me. I mean, not that it won't be used and not that it's not useful and valuable, but that seems kind of niche. And almost every developer I've talked with since has said, no, I can see selling stuff. It's affiliate links. It's, just like on podcasts where you hear affiliate links, or on blogs where you see affiliate links. Now we're going to see the same sorts of things in skills. And
so selling your own products, or like what you're saying with the associate links, where you can sell any product from Amazon, and because you've associated your Amazon affiliate link to your developer account, then you get up to 10%, I guess, commission for the sales that you make. And I see for agencies and businesses that are making skills for others, that's going to open up some excitement for creating their own skills.
Without a doubt. But it also now means that you can do things like, you can sell a Snatchword t-shirt through the Snatchword store.
Exactly. So you can sell physical goods or digital goods, just all from within your skill. And it would just be a seamless workflow. I guess it's just really easy for both the user and for the developer to include that.
Yeah. Speaking of one of the seamless things that was kind of in my category of, you mean it didn't do that before? And I should know that it didn't, because you and I have discussed this a couple of times.
Right.
Where the voice forward account linking and the voice forward permissioning system that's now available. And I saw that, and my initial reaction was, that is great to see that it's finally there, but I don't think developers are going to be wow over it. But again, I was surprised. Every developer I talked to, they said, oh no, I've been waiting for that for ages. So I think that's a really exciting thing.
Yeah, so interesting. So let's talk about voice forward consent. So we've already have a subset of the permissions that you can do on Alexa. You can instigate inside of the skill and just do it as part of the skill workflow. You don't have to leave and go over to the Alexa app and your permissions and go ahead and enable permission for skills. So this has been expanded to things like name and an email address. I'm not sure if it's everything. We'll have to take a look to see if that's been, and the way that I would like it to work, if it is going to work that way. I do like the fact that there is a settings page where you can go in and click on permissions. And I like the idea that you can start it in from voice and turn on a permission, and then it like toggles it on and keeps it on, so that subsequent times you don't have to be prompted. I know on Google, every time that you hit a spot where you needed to ask for permissions, you need to give voice permissions, and then the next time you have to do it again, right?
Yeah, that is actually just for location now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's just for location, but that's because name and email address and all of that are tied into the Google sign-in, which is the equivalent of account linking.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of assume that if you want the name or the email address or the phone number or anything that's part of the user's profile, you get that through account linking stuff. And the one thing left in permissions is location. And that you need to verify every time still.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So voice forward account linking is interesting. I think it's a step in the right direction. Current account linking, there's the standard account linking. That was the first thing that was out, where you start the account linking or login process from the Alexa app, or you go into your voice app and you need account linking and it tells you, hey, go to your Alexa app. And so it started from the Alexa app.
Right. And that one required you to have your own OAuth server, and it would do funky handoffs to the OAuth server and so
yeah,
forth, right?
Yeah. So
right.
Yeah,
that was the same on the Google side.
Yeah, following OAuth 2 authorization code grant, and just following that through defer over to a web page for login, and that login page is hosted inside the Alexa app, and you can sign in and different hands off, and then finally the token gets cached, and you're good to go with account linking. That flow is fairly simple, as long as you've already have an OAuth server set up, right? To do that, it's just some configuration settings on your OAuth side and on the Alexa skill side. That's pretty easy. It's not super convenient from a user's perspective, because they have to stop the flow and they have to go over here, and there's just different things. So that's kind of the first one. The second one that they introduced was app-to-app account linking. If you already have like a mobile app and you log into your mobile app, then you've already done one side of the connecting. So there's a way that you can then do the account linking starting from that point. And it's a little bit smoother, definitely a better experience from the user. So now we've got a third option, which is this voice forward account linking. But right now it's limited to log in with Amazon. And there's actually this intermediate skill that you have to write that kind of does the handshaking back and forth.
Well, so that's interesting.
Yeah, so I think there's still some limitation. Like if I wanted to use this with clients that have their own OAuth server, can't do it yet.
No.
And from a user's perspective, I think it's going to be a lot smoother of a flow, but I think it's going to be more complicated to implement from a developer standpoint.
That's really interesting, because the equivalent on the Google side, which is Google OAuth, or what do they call it? Sign in with Google Assistant, is literally all it kind of assumes you're going to need to sign in with your Google account, and that somewhere, if you needed to use this outside of the assistant, that you would provide a login with Google button. And that's where the connection takes place. And there is a login with Amazon button. I mean,
yes, yeah, there is.
It exists, but it's not as heavily used. So I'm kind of wondering if this is going to drive more websites to start using sign in with Amazon as well.
Yeah, it might. So that will be interesting to see. So I think we're making the steps in the right direction. Account linking still is hard, either from a developer standpoint or clunky from a user's standpoint. But hopefully this is a step in the right direction, and it'll be interesting to start seeing, first opportunity I have to start implementing that, to see how it goes in implementation.
So what is this sounds really interesting, but I need more details. Feature that you're looking at.
Well, there's a couple of language model features that I'm interested in. So there's customized pronunciations, which is in preview. So it's that situation, I think, where you've got names or words that are pronounced a specific way, so that that you can get custom pronunciation. So this is, I guess, this one's probably more on the SSML side. It'd be interesting if you can do customized pronunciations on the input side.
It's the input side.
This one is the input side?
So it was totally not clear from the presentation yesterday.
Yes.
Or even one of the blog posts. It wasn't until I saw the description, and they describe it as ingest your own pronunciations in Alexa to improve the speech recognition of rare or custom words.
So it definitely is language model.
It's definitely the language model, which is really, really interesting and impressive.
Yes. Well, like if you're doing stuff in various fields, it could be science with scientific terms, medical terms, drug names. Oh man, there's lots of different things.
There's so much that can be done here, and it's just in preview. So there's not really a lot about it, but I could even say, depending on how they do this and how successful it is, it could also be used in like skills where you're teaching a foreign language and you're asking the person to pronounce something, to make sure that they pronounce the word correctly. even though you're now talking, so you may be talking to them in English, but the word that you're expecting to hear back is Italian or Japanese.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it can do that, but I could easily see that being, either growing into something like that or having that kind of a feature in a very limited way.
Yeah. No, that's definitely interesting. I'm wondering what they're going to use, if they're going to use IPA or some other way to specify the different pronunciations.
Yeah, I wonder if it means that, you need to say this word 20 times from 5 different people or something, so that you're literally training an ML language model.
Maybe. That's interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I can think of 100 ways that they could do it, and I don't know.
Yeah. Something else in the language model side that it would be interesting to get more details on is slot negation. So this is the idea, is that you could ask for something, but not something else. Like, give me pants that aren't red. I don't know. So I don't know how it's going to be implemented, if it's somehow just tagged on to the slot, as far as, the slot is filled with red, but then there's also like an additional modifier that you could get access to for every slot, or if you have to do slots a special way. I don't know.
Now, is that part of slots, or is that part of Alexa Conversations, which they also talked a lot about?
It doesn't list it specifically as Alexa Conversations. The description is allows your customers to indicate things they don't want, like shoes without white soles.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I got to tell you, the feature that I saw that kind of made me go, yes, that sounds great. Maybe. And the watch party that I was with had a lot of people go, who would want that feature? Is the interactive media improvements. So that from the description, so the description that was given was that while media is playing, you'd be able to say, request a song or request a dedication to someone.
Yeah.
And to me, that says, okay, so that means in an audio stream, we're now going to start introducing some of those conversational elements that I love from the Google side of things, and that prevented us from writing the 2Voice Devs skill. So the question now comes, okay, will I be able to create custom intents as part of the media stream, or am I limited to additional intents in the media stream? And
yeah,
there's no documentation.
Good question.
So we'll see.
So a couple of other things. So let's talk a little bit about routines. There's some feature coming out with, it's called custom tasks in routines. Now, there's 2 different types of quick links. There's like the standard flavor of quick link, which is basically, you don't have to do anything to your skill. It could already be published out there. All you have to do is grab the unique skill ID for the skill and like what country it's from, and you can, doctor up a URL and then start passing that on social media. And when you click that, it takes you to a web page that lists the different devices that you can, in essence, cast to, and then select one, and then the skill starts. So that's the typical quick link. So that's a way of getting from your, I guess, web or some non smart speaker, smart display into a skill executing on your device. Now, there's an additional one called like custom task quick links, and that's where you have to define some code on your side of things, and it needs to be, I guess, redeployed and certified. But it allows you to pass parameters and other custom values. So then in the quick link that you provide, it's a different format, but it actually, starts up your skill, and it can deep link right into a specific intent. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about custom tasks and routines. Now, with routines, you've been able to create a routine that has a skill as the last item. So you can say, oh, I just want to invoke XYZ skill. And it starts up, it does the launch request, and that's good. You've also been able to create a custom action, and basically you type the same phrase as what you would say to Alexa. So I've used that to start up skills in Deep Link. So I could say, Alexa start, whatever skill, and do this, whatever, one of the invocation or the intent for the Deep Link. So you could type out that whole phrase and create that in a routine already. So that already exists. So that's
interesting. I didn't realize you could type out the whole phrase.
Yep, you can. That's something that's been, I don't know exactly when it came out, but probably just this last year that is when I've noticed it.
Because again, both of those are available on the Google side of doing routines as well.
Yeah.
But
this
change is interesting.
Yeah. So this last change allows you to then, surface some of those parameters and options that you have when you define your custom task. So when somebody finds it, it's kind of like they get a form that says, oh, I want to be able to invoke this intent or this action or this task, really, because a task turns into some feature that could be an intent or it could be something else on the Alexa side. But here's this task, and maybe this task has a parameter that you type in. Like I think they were doing, you wanted to play music and you wanted to, or a comedian, I think was the sample, and you could type in the name of a comedian that you liked. So what happens when you invoke that? Then it does the task, and then it passes a parameter to the task of the name of the comedian, and then it.
Right, and it also allowed for drop downs in some fields, and so it was aware of what the parameter types could be and what the possible invocations could be.
So it's turning custom tasks into forms, fillable forms, I guess, and routines is what it seems like to me.
And I think that's an interesting step. One of the things that I wish, and as far as I know, neither Quick Links nor Assistant Links do this, is let me have partial aliases. So for example, right now you can say to your Google Assistant, hey, G, ask two voice devs to play episode 51.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no way for me to set an alias for the ask two voice devs to play episode part. So I can't just say, hey, G, run with episode 52. So there's no way for me to dynamically add that parameter.
So you're saying voice fill the parameter for the task? Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah.
And it's lacking on both of them. I can't, I'm sure both will eventually get there. But it's just interesting that I can alias the entire phrase, but not a part of the phrase.
Yeah. So on the reverse side of custom tasks, something else that they talked about was send a phone. So when you go from social media or some non-device and you want to have something cast to your device, then you'd use a quick link or custom task quick link. But if you're working on something on the device and you want to send something to your phone, so like maybe we'll talk about this interesting feature here in just a minute, but then what you can do is, it could be a save point at a game, or it could be, I don't know, it could be whatever, something interesting, a fact, maybe it's like you're using the art museum skill that Katie and Bodad did. Then maybe you see something like, oh, save that, and then it would send it to your phone. And then inside of your app, your companion mobile app for Art Museum, then it would bring it up in that. Or you could do some other things, send it via, a text or something like that to somebody else. So that's kind of the opposite direction. So that's interesting that you can round trip it. Where I find that interesting is this idea, and I'm not sure if it plays directly in with this, but maybe could pair with it, would be this shared activities API, where you can, be playing a game and accomplish something in the game. Maybe it's a turn-based, and you can then send something off to somebody else to say, hey, it's your turn. And then they can do it and back and forth. So I'm wondering,
hang on.
Go ahead.
Because you just went into the other huge feature that everybody is talking about.
Yes, I know I did. I snuck that in.
So, and that is this huge, asynchronous multiplayer game feature that's launching, which I'm sure you were salivating about.
Yes, I was definitely interested in that feature.
So why don't you talk about that one a little bit?
Oh, you know what? I didn't. I missed that episode actually of the Alexa Live. So I've got homework on that. I've seen a little bit. I've seen some diagram. I've seen some people talk about it. A little chatter on Twitter. I understand the gist of it as far as an asynchronous match mode kind of feature. But how it implemented it or what the nuances is, I don't know yet.
The nuances will be interesting, and I'm sure we will dedicate at least one episode, if not more, to talking about it. But the gist I got was that it allowed for things like, basically, as I heard someone describe it, it's the Words with Friends feature.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to start a game with somebody else. You'll be able to know when it's your turn in that game. And it's not meant to be you're both sitting there talking at the same time. It's meant to be one of you takes a turn. And then when you're done, the other person is notified that it's their turn. And then eventually they'll take their turn and so forth.
Yeah. So it could be, I guess, in the same evening, or it could be like, you used to play chess by mail, right?
Exactly.
So it could be, near real time, or it could be, strongly delayed.
Right. But it also could be things like, I'll get a notification suddenly saying, hey, Mark just earned 300 points on Snatchword. They're now at, this value for this week. You think you can catch up?
Yeah. Or they just passed you or something like that.
Exactly. So, it's supports those kinds of features and that kind of messaging on a broad scale, but also on a narrow scale when, if you're playing one-on-one chess.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that all fits together. So not very much specifically for gaming, but that would seem definitely attributed for those that are creating voice games.
So lots and lots of stuff here. I know neither of us are big on the smart home or the device or the industry solutions. Yeah, was there anything about them that kind of jumped out at you?
You know what? No, I didn't really spend a lot of time on that. That's not my forte, and I was too. It's like throwing me into a ball pit, and I just ignored the red ones or something like that. It was just there was so much to look at that I didn't really spend so much time. But I'm sure that I'll get exposed to some of those more, especially more on the professional side as I'm implementing different things for clients, and as I have a chance to go back and look at some of those things.
I think all of them were interesting. I think the biggest deal that I saw there was the fact that Alexa committed their support to the Matter protocol, which everyone is committing their support to. I think that was the biggest one that jumped out at me.
Yeah, that definitely seems, and there was some talk about creating, I guess, competing voice assistants that have their own unique wake word, but built on some of the same platform that Alexa is.
That was interesting. The demonstration from that they had with Verizon for Verizon's smart display device was, it was interesting in some ways, and I understood. The Amazon team was very much pushing we want people to use whatever assistant is most appropriate on whatever device and so forth. But
right. They were saying the right words.
They were saying the right words, but the example of Verizon, I thought was a bad example.
Oh.
Well, it continued to convince me that their approach might not be the wisest approach. Let's put it that way. Oh. I think they're well intentioned. I don't think that having one device that I need to remember the invocation phrase for 10 or 20 different things will really get us where we really want to go.
Yeah, no, but I, I do know, privy to some of the projects that I'm working on, that there is definitely interest in the industry of having this owned assistant. There's multiple ways to do that. And I think Amazon's just saying we're one option if that's the route that you want to go. I think they want to, they're always interested, with AWS to have a platform that you can build on and monetize on their side of things. And so I think they're just looking out for their interests there as well.
That's definitely a fair point.
Yeah.
So anything else from you about what else we're going to be, what else grabbed your interest? And again, we're going to be going over all of these. And as we discover more, and I want to encourage everyone, if there are things that jumped out at you that you'd like us to talk about more, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, and I didn't do a list. I did solicit some people out on Twitter for some feedback, and we did get some feedback on different features. And I think we've talked a lot about some of the same features that other people were interested in, but I did fail to acknowledge them. But check out my Twitter feed and the people that responded, and go ahead and carry on conversations. With us and among yourselves on these features as well. So
yeah, we love having conversations with all of you about, and about these things and about anything else that you're coming across as you develop for Alexa and for Google Assistant.
Yep. So there's more to look at. There's a lot of things previews to sign up for, and then they'll trickle in over this next year as far as when they become available to try, or if I'm able to get into any of the betas or previews. But I'm excited for a lot of the stuff that came out. So I guess that's it for this week of Two Voice Devs. So thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Mark. Have a good week.
You too. Take care.